In 2012, salt water flooded these tunnels. Engineers pumped it out. Service resumed, but the damage never left. Right now, every single night, maintenance workers crawl inside these tunnels. They scrape salt off crumbling walls. They patch cracks. They hold the structure together. They are not fixing the problem. They are buying time. And America has less of it than you think. The North River tunnels opened in 1910. Hand-dug by workers in pressurized chambers deep underground. Cast iron tubes, reinforced concrete, built to last. And for over 100 years, they did. Today, 450 trains pass through them every single weekday, carrying over 200,000 passengers between New Jersey and Manhattan. These aren't numbers. They are nurses, construction workers, and finance employees who have no other way to get to work. This is the most critical rail choke point in North America. It powers the Northeast Corridor, an economic engine responsible for nearly 20% of the nation's GDP. And there is no backup. If even one tunnel goes offline before a replacement is ready, it won't just delay commuters. It could trigger a massive economic shock across the United States. So how did one of the world's richest nations let its most critical infrastructure reach this point? And can a $16 billion tunnel be finished before time runs out? For decades, the tunnels quietly did their job. Until 2012, when Superstorm Sandy hit New York. The Hudson River surged inside, flooding both tunnels with millions of gallons of salt water. The water was pumped out, service resumed, but the damage stayed behind. Because salt doesn't destroy infrastructure instantly, it destroys it slowly. Inside the walls, steel reinforcement began to corrode, expand, crack the concrete from within. This process is called spalling, and today, it is visible everywhere. Every night, crews enter the tunnels, scraping, patching, holding it together. But they are not fixing the problem. They are buying time. Right now, both tunnels are still running, but they are no longer reliable. Engineers know what comes next. Each tunnel will eventually need to be shut down for full rehabilitation. And that is where the real crisis begins, because this system was never designed with redundancy. There are only two tubes, two tracks. Remove one, and the entire network collapses. Capacity doesn't drop by half. It drops by nearly 75%. Because of how the tracks are configured, most trains simply stop running. Tens of thousands of commuters can't reach Manhattan. NJ Transit riders face 2-hour bus rides. Amtrak stops running between New York, Boston, and Washington. Highways gridlock. Businesses lose workers. Supply chains slow. This isn't a transportation problem, it's a national emergency. The solution is not to fix the old tunnels first, because shutting them down would trigger the very collapse engineers are trying to prevent. So a completely new system has to be built first. This is the Gateway Hudson Tunnel Project, a $16 billion effort to bore 2 brand new tunnels beneath the Hudson River. Once complete, traffic shifts to the new tubes. Only then can the original 1910 tunnels be fully rebuilt. New tunnels open around 2035. Full rehabilitation complete, 2038. For the first time in over a century, the Northeast Corridor will finally have 4 tracks. For the first time ever, there will be redundancy. But here is where things nearly fell apart. This project should have been built years ago. In 2010, a nearly identical project was ready. It was called the ARC Tunnel, Access to the Region's Core. Construction had already begun. Federal funding was secured. The path was clear. Then Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey canceled it. His official reason, cost overruns.
I'm not going to put the taxpayers of our state on the hook for costs that are well in excess of what this was originally projected to be.
The project, he said, was too expensive. New Jersey couldn't afford its share. But here is what he didn't say. Christie was in the middle of his own political crisis. His administration was under pressure, and canceling a mega project, redirecting those state funds elsewhere, gave him a short-term political win. The long-term cost? A decade of lost time, tunnel damage that compounded every single year, and a project that now costs nearly double what ARC would have. One man's political calculation, billions of dollars in consequences. So here is the question, and I want to know what you think in the comments. Chris Christie canceled this in 2010. The tunnels got worse every year after. At what point does political negligence become criminal? And then, history repeated itself. In late 2025, the Trump administration froze federal funding for the project. Not because it was over budget, not because of engineering concerns, but citing diversity compliance rules. Construction stopped. Nearly 1,000 workers were laid off. For 12 days, one of the most critical infrastructure projects in American history sat completely dead in the water. Then a federal judge stepped in. On February 6, 2026, Judge Jeanette Vargas ordered the money released, calling the freeze improper. The funds flowed again. Workers returned. Construction resumed. As of April 2026, the project is moving forward, but the lawsuits are still active. The legal fight is not over. Chris Christie canceled this project in 2010. Donald Trump froze it in 2026. Two different parties, two different decades. Same result, delay. This project, the one protecting 20% of America's GDP, is being used as a political hostage. That is not infrastructure policy. That is negligence. Building under the Hudson is not straightforward. The ground itself is unpredictable. New Jersey side, hard volcanic rock. Then suddenly, soft riverbed sediment, almost like mud. Then back into rock beneath Manhattan. To handle this, engineers are deploying massive tunnel boring machines. Not just drills, moving underground factories, 500 feet long, equipped with tungsten carbide cutters strong enough to grind through bedrock. These machines maintain constant pressure at the tunnel face, preventing the river above from collapsing inward, at the same time installing precast concrete segments, forming a watertight tunnel designed to last over 100 years. And beneath Manhattan, one of the most complex challenges of all. The tunnel must connect directly into Penn Station, under Hudson Yards, under skyscrapers, under one of the densest cities on Earth. Engineers solved this years in advance by building a hidden concrete casing deep beneath the city, waiting, ready. Without it, the entire project would be impossible. Construction is finally underway. Shafts are being excavated in North Bergen. The first boring machine is being assembled right now. Parts for a second are arriving from Europe, but completion isn't expected until 2035. That leaves a dangerous window. Nearly a decade, where the most important rail corridor in America depends entirely on infrastructure built in 1910. Engineers are now doing something unprecedented, maintaining failing tunnels, while building their replacements at the same time. It's like repairing an engine, while the machine is still running at full speed. If it works, capacity doubles, delays drop. The Northeast Corridor becomes stable, and one of the most important economic engines in the world finally gets the infrastructure it deserves. If it doesn't, there is no backup, no alternative route, no redundancy. Just two aging tunnels, carrying the weight of an entire region. The Hudson River Tunnel is more than an infrastructure project. It's a warning of what happens when the most critical systems are ignored, for decades, by the people elected to protect them. America is spending $16 billion, not to build its future, but to prevent its collapse. Because sometimes the most expensive projects aren't the ones built too early, they're the ones built too late. And if you think this tunnel is America's only infrastructure crisis, consider what's happening above ground. Right now, the power grid that runs every hospital, every subway, every business on the East Coast is running on transformers installed before men walked on the moon. And it is one storm away from taking everything down with it. That video is coming next. Subscribe now, because this story is only getting worse.